This is The Worship of Technology by Nahom Haile, Caden Hossie, and Ethan Williams.
Hi, my name is Nahom, and today I'll be covering the first and the second question for this presentation. So first I'll explain the meaning of worship and adoration using Christian theology. In Christianity, worship means giving honor, praise, and devotion to God. Christian theology teaches that God is worthy of worship because He's the one who created everything and He continues to guide and care for us. Worship is also a celebration of God's action in history. Christian theology teaches that worship is not limited to rituals or church ceremonies. Instead, worship is meant to be a believer's entire life. This means that how people live, act, and respond to God can be a form of worship. In other words, worship involves offering our life to God through gratitude, faith, and obedience. Adoration is closely related to worship, but adoration is a specific form of worship that expresses deep love, reverence, and devotion to God. When Christians adore God, they show respect and appreciation for who God is and what He has done. Now, let me explain our group's focus of adoration, which is technology. Technology refers to a tool such as our smartphones, computers, the internet, AI that people use in everyday life. In modern society, technology has become an important part of how people communicate, work, entertain themselves, and access information. Because technology plays such an important role in our day-to-day life, many people spend large amount of time using technology devices. So technology is becoming something that people devote a lot of attention and time to. Research shows that digital technology can influence how people think and focus. Some common examples might include frequent use of social media, looking validation on social media through likes and followers, and spending several hours online each day. This example shows how strongly technology influences our modern habits and behaviors.
Hi, my name is Caden Hossie, and I'll be talking about how society encourages the worship of technology. The first major way it does this is through addictive design. According to Cuss and Griffiths, social media sites, for example, are intentionally designed to be addictive for the users. This is through ways like notifications, comments, which constantly keep the user coming back into their apps, back into the social media sites, and infinite scrolling, which just kind of traps the user into scrolling video after video. Another way they do this is through habitual patterns and streaks. Apps like to form streaks, so that way people constantly come back into the app day after day to continue their streak as a motivation or an incentive for them to keep accessing their app and relying on that technology. Additionally, sites are constantly accessible in tons of different ways. According to Cuss and Griffiths, this is through phone apps, through websites. You can access these social media sites with your account information. You can basically have the ability to log into any phone, any computer, anywhere, log into your account and access social media and rely on it that way, which only further encourages easy and constant use of technology and relying on it in that way. Additionally, society encourages the worship of technology through how people validate themselves through technology, and they find their identity in that. People tie their self-worth to their online feedback, according to Cuss and Griffiths, through likes, comments, followers, how people react, and give feedback on their posts, on their things online. They find their identity in that, and people often continue this and construct fake and unrealistic profiles of themselves. They try to, build this perfect profile of who they are on social media by comparing themselves with others and trying to just be the absolute perfect person on social media, that they lose sight of who they really are. Their identity is fully and completely tied to their online profile, and that's what they find their identity in. And so outside of technology, they don't really know who they are. And so this need for approval on technology on social media sites only further drives the use and reliance on technology in this way.
My name is Ethan Williams. I'm doing my part of the project. I got question 4. First, I'm going to define dehumanization. Dehumanization, defined by Diffenbach in Dehumanization, Practicing Humanity. He defines it as perceiving or acting as if someone is less than human in violation of one or more elements of the model of humanity, and thereby causing or being more likely to inflict harm. In simple terms, dehumanization is just when people have their humanity stripped away and are treated less than human. There's many types of different human ways you can dehumanize someone as well. You can start off by comparing them to an animal or random objects. You can dehumanize someone by denying them their individual person, and you could perceive them as a group of someone more than just as an individual. And my second slide is how worshiping technology affects humanity and society. Worshiping technology can cause many negative effects on society and on a person in general. On a person, affects someone's mental health. People's mental health will start to decline, because when you're worshiping technology, you get hit with a bunch of bursts of dopamine, and that dopamine doesn't last, and it becomes addicting, gaining control of your mind and becoming addicting. This leads to a sense of emptiness and disconnection from the world around you. It could also lead to physical health problems. Worshiping technology can lead to constant eye strain from the screen and disturbance in your regular sleep patterns, because your brain won't be able to shut off because it's constantly more regular on the screen than it is sleeping. And then in a bigger, wider scale, when technology is the main priority in people's lives, it can lead to the loss of critical thinking. People stop looking towards themselves or people for answers and find their reliance in AI or just technology in general. This can cause just a mass spread of misinformation, because AI can give many different answers for the same question. People start to become dehumanized because of this, because they value technology such as followers, likes, sketchy websites, and AI more as a source of worth than they can in other people or in themselves. And then my last slide is just all the references. We had 4 references, and yeah.